Welcome to Magnet Marketers, our weekly live show where we break down the head, heart, and hand approach to building sustainable growth in your business. During each episode, we share actual client marketing best practice examples, strategies, and tactics that will help you generate real results. Our belief? A magnet always works better than being a bullhorn to attract, retain, and build your brand. Ready to dive into this week's Relationship Marketing Training Tuesday? Well, let's get started. Here's your host, Mike Gingerich and Jessika Phillips. Yay. Hello, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday Live. We're Magnet Marketers. Our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And we have a fellow magnet with us today, Winnie Sun, to dive into all things how to build community in regulated industries. We're talking real estate, insurance companies, financial, the list goes on and on, right? Accounting, legal. Those industries, it's hard where you feel like you have to be censored and when social feels like it needs to be social, right? And be real. But she's mastered this quite a bit, and I cannot wait to introduce her today. But first, before we do that with the lovely Winnie, if you've not met before, my name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. My personal mission is to help you love more, give more, and be more through the art of authentic relating. And my awesome co-host, as always, it's Mike Gingerich, president of a web development and software firm, Digital Hill Multimedia. He's published author 5 times over, triathlete, runner, biker, and leading business blogger at MikeGingerich.com. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I am doing well, and I am just super pumped for the discussion today. Super pumped for this bio. I don't think I've ever had a bio that I've been so impressed with from the get-go. So I mean, I'm gonna dive in.
She's a sweetheart. She's the unicorn in our industry. I love it. I love her.
Yes. Well, if you don't know Winnie, you soon will. Winnie Sun is with us today, and she's one of the most trusted financial voices in social media today. 20 plus years experience in the financial services industry. She started when she was a teenager, obviously. Winnie serves as managing director of Sun Group Wealth Partners. She's on the CNBC Financial Advisor Council. She's a Forbes contributor, a regular on Good Day Los Angeles, and is also the TV host of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Our trending business tweet chat averages over 150 million impressions per week. And look at this fun fact here. The hashtag Winnie Sun has been shared on social media over 25 billion with a B times right there, folks. So welcome, Winnie.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jessika. So great to be here with my friends. How are you?
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I can't believe it's the first time we've had you on. We were talking before we went live. We're like, when did we first meet? And then we realized that
I was talking
I was fangirling over you long before. And then finally now get you on Magnet Marketers because you are a wealth, no pun intended, of information and just a ray of light, which is perfect for the type of people that we want to have right here on Magnet Marketers. And I love the way that you approach just showing up on social the way that it should be. Because I don't think we've never met in person, right?
I feel like we have, but I actually don't.
And that's this is where the magic is, people. When you feel like I know her or him, and I feel like we've met because I have this admiration for this person, but you can't remember if you really met in real life. That's when you know you're doing social right. So I want to hear, Winnie, you talk about how you do this and do this within your industry, which is regulated, which we talked about, financial, real estate, legal, all these markets that have rules basically on how you can show up online. Like, how can people in regulated industry show up on social media and still build community like that you're doing, where people feel like I met you already.
Yeah.
But maybe I haven't.
Because some say they're restricted. Some say you can't do it. And yet you're a testament that it can be done. So we're eager to hear from you on that today on that.
Well, you're both right. I mean, Jessika, Mike, it is so true because I'm in a heavily regulated, I actually argue it's probably the most regulated industry, right? I am regulated not only on the federal level, but on the state level. I'm dealing with money. So it's very, very sensitive. And I think there's a lot of people out there wondering, how do you do? And so often people come to me through the years and how I want to do what you do. I want to do it. But I remember this is almost a decade ago. And I remember starting to dabble travel on social media and starting to build more of a presence. And I remember people telling me over and over again, why are you doing social media? You should spend that same energy cold calling or doing seminars. You're good at seminars, stick with seminars, right? Like they kept emphasizing that what I was doing was wrong. But here's the thing with in a highly regulated industry, that is true. There's certain things we cannot talk about. Like I can't talk about what you should invest in, what stock you should invest in, what, individual securities. I can't talk about certain things that are sort of off topic or off the table, I should say, in terms of regulators. But I can talk people talk all day long. And the great thing is most people like to hear people talk over the traditional, really strict jargon anyway. So it's to me, I find it very enlightening because sometimes you just sort of overthink about what you can and cannot do. But once you realize what you can do, you realize that it's so much more. It's really just putting yourself out there, sharing yourself, and then those who are interested in what you do will find where you are and they will do business with you. And so I've had so many success stories through the years, client after client that has come to me from the things I've done on social media.
Yeah. So I mean, really, it's just been it's offered you exposure, and from that, you've been able to build trust, which eventually led people to seek you out for business. Is that the idea?
Yeah, Mike, you translated me so much better. But you're absolutely right.
That's my job. Anything, boil it down to 5 words, and
I
like,
I tell people all the time, Mike is the Jessika whisperer because I will talk all woo woo and then like for minutes, and he'll say it in like a sentence. I was like, yeah, what he said.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hang out here, Mike, and you can finish. We all need a mic in our life. I
love
think
it.
that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and we got some good comments coming in. By the way, everybody's saying, hello, Winnie. Hi, Winnie. Oh, she's the best. Yeah, Tim, Sohn, Jen Cole, George Demanis. Everybody's loving you. Jen says, so true. Jargon can seem pretentious and makes people feel left out. People talk is where it's at. And then we got another comment from Eva. She says, I know many lawyers who prefer not to be active on social media. One thing is that they are busy. Another is that they don't want to get in trouble for saying wrong, reacting to sensitive topic on social. This is exactly what we're talking about, Eva. This is exactly it. And this is what Winnie is doing on how you show up. Like, what can you show up for? So how would you respond to Eva's comment here?
So I think Eva's question is very, very, her comment is really good. I think a lot of people feel this way, whether they be attorneys, whether it be doctors. I hear that all the time. Number one, I'm super busy. Number two, what if I say something wrong and I get in trouble and I don't want to risk my license? I don't want to get regulators I don't want to get in trouble with regulators. I don't want to get penalized. I don't want to, a lot of things could happen. And I would say that's actually a really good point. One thing that we want to focus on is to be good at anything, especially social media, it means a ton of practice. So a lot of professionals would rather do, meet with clients. They rather go play golf. They rather do a lot of things besides social media. I hear that over and over again. But when it comes to building a brand, right, especially in my industry, think about it. There's not a lot of competition in a very challenging space. So if like in my space, I'm not like in Jessika or Mike's world or some of you out there who are, in marketing and live streaming, that's a really, really busy area. In finance, there aren't that many of us, and there's not many of us that understand how we should be talking to our audience. So prior to sort of going into the financial industry, I had a few years in the television industry. I owned a television audience production company. I filled audiences for America's Funniest Home Videos and Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, Judge Judy. They were all my clients at the time. And so what I realized is that, at the end of the day, if you really know your stuff, you're able to communicate it in a way that whether it be my 8-year-old or whether it be an 80-year-old, everybody can understand it. And that is sort of a skill, right? When you get really, really good at your craft, you should be able to explain it in mic talk to everybody. So that's what I would say is that before you jump on social, you got to practice, find out your messaging, and really pay attention to what regular people want to hear. For example, when I was first on CNBC Closing Bell years ago, I thought, they needed me to know statistics, inflationary numbers, like how much gold closed for that day, how much volume was traded. I thought that that's what they wanted. And then I realized through the years that once I started talking about real things like that, like an emergency fund is this much for this person, but really because, you have mom and dad to fall back on, so you only need this much. All of a sudden, like everybody was paying attention. And I recognized that although there's a fit for people in that very technical world, for me to stay in my swim lane is to talk people and also keeps me safe from a regulatory standpoint. And like Mike had said, you build trust so quickly because people understand you. So all of a sudden becomes very easy. Now, it's not a good fit for everybody. I do think, being a parent has made me a better financial advisor. Being a financial advisor has made me a much better parent. So that's helped a lot. But it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, I love that. And you're right. So like the practice, for example, we've worked with some attorneys before, and we've had one that was like, they would share just reactions to cases that had already like went through and explain it to the community, because they know that their community was one that's like, why did this happen? Right. And they were targeting like, individuals. Right. And then we had another that was targeting more of the cases that were people that were injured, personal injury, car accidents, things like that. So they reminded people of things to do if you got into the situation. And that's their, because I always use the 10-4-1 rule. So out of every like 15 posts, if you're in an industry like that, you can use 10 like persona-based posts, right? Which are just related to things that your community would be interested in. It doesn't have to be about you. The 4 would be resources and expertise that you provide. And then that 1 would be like that soft call to action. So for like the personal injury attorney, they would share things like for their 4 and their 1. The 4 would be, hey, here's what you do if you get an accident. Make sure first you're taking pictures, you get the information, all the best practices that people would share anyway, that they're not going to get themselves in trouble. You can't say, I'm the best attorney, call me, but you would share these tips. And then that call to action would be, hey, we have an app now for that. Like they had a utility that was like, hey, use our app and it will walk you through the steps that we're recommending to do if you get into that situation, and have it downloaded ahead of time, because you don't want to sit there downloading it when you're in this, this bad situation.
So true. Yeah. And that's what all of us find value in, right? You're helping me with something that I can understand, something very tangible. And then from there, you then earn my attention. And then so I need to share something, then I will listen to you. And so often that's the case. It's like, we just have to, I do think, listening more on social media has helped tremendously. And it's interesting because even now, although there's now more and more people in the regulated industries on social. We saw that certainly with COVID. We see a lot of medical professionals and doctors jumping on and talking and sharing knowledge. But I think, we got to get to a point where we know what we can and cannot say. And most importantly, that we're not stuck in a box. I think that's key, because even my husband did this to me a few years ago. I did Hilton reached out and wanted to do a campaign with me, a partnership with me. And my husband says, what does a hotel company have anything to do with being a financial advisor? I was like, okay, so last time I checked, I was still a human and not just a financial advisor. So try not
personality.
Yeah, don't let people put you in a box, and definitely don't put yourself in a box.
I love that you said that box, and I'm sorry, Mike, I'm like passionate about this one thing really quick, and I'm going to shut up and let you talk. But putting yourself in a box, because I see so many financial advisors or just people in regulated industries being so scared that they get stuck, but they know they want to be on social. So they subscribe to this, hey, we will do this all for everyone type cookie cutter social media that is almost, I feel, just as bad as not being on social, because it's like the same type of post for every single person in their niche. And so they subscribe to these companies that provide just that. And it's like the whole purpose of social is showing your personality. Like you do so brilliantly, Winnie, which I want to have you share this for everyone on how you use your show to show your personality, and you're engaging with other companies, whether it's a hotel company, a person in marketing, or whatever, that you're aligning to add value to your community, but to enhance the way that people should feel when they meet you. And that's the key. Because if you're just doing social to do social, but it's no different than any other person in your industry, what's the point? Like the whole thing is like, if I choose one company over another, one attorney over another, I need to choose them based upon who I feel that they're going to best align with me and be able to best serve my needs. And you can't tell me you're the best. Chances are the insurance company is not going to be able to offer a deal, a buy one, get one free accident deal, or something like that, right? So you have to do it based on personality. And if we can't get a sense of your personality, if it's the same across the board, then what's the point, right? So Winnie, can you share a little bit about like what you do on your show and kind of how that aligns with how you show up?
Well, Jessica, I love that you mentioned you talk about the importance of personality, and I'll talk about my show definitely. I mean, I'll give you something. A lot of people actually don't even know this about me. When I tell them, they sort of don't believe me. But one of the reasons I started getting on social media, and actually, my husband is very social. I'm actually not just an introvert, but on the flip side, I'm an extreme introvert. I'm not comfortable typically going out to meet people in general. If I go to a conference, you probably won't meet me unless we actually bump into each other, because I won't go out of my way to meet people, because I'm not that type of personality, right? So I like to be behind the scenes. I like the quietness. And so social media works for me because I can be myself, right? I can be on TV. I can be on stage in front of 10, 15,000 people. I feel good there. But get me in a group of like 10, 20, and really, really socially awkward in that situation. So my show is, as Mike had mentioned, it's on all these different platforms. It was something that was sort of labor of love that we came together with NASDAQ on. It's now also on the CW in San Francisco. It just got picked up 2 months ago there. And looks like we're going to be in some other markets as well. This was a chance for me to do something outside of just being a financial advisor. So that is really sort of my passion, because I remember being in my high school physics class, and there would be kids who graduate from my high school, and they would come and talk about what they were doing for a living. And I remember loving that. So my show is sort of an extension of that. It's now letting me interview and learn from other heavy hitters in the world that I think I love to learn from them. I'm thinking other people would love to learn from them. And therefore that was the sort of the heart and soul of the show.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, I gotta go back to this learning though, because you said that you're a better financial advisor because you're a parent, and vice versa. So kind of give me something out of that. Just expand upon that a little bit more.
Okay, Mike. Well, so here's the thing is, like, I think being a financial advisor, right? I think so often we think that they're a certain way. They drive a nice car. Maybe their parents were the financial advisors. They probably have a lot of money. Well, that wasn't really me. I was the person who, my parents went bankrupt 3 months before I started college. I financially struggled throughout college. And then I found myself finally treading water, and then starting a television audience company. And then so I decided I should take personal finance courses, the certificate program at UCLA at night, to help my parents who are immigrants to the United States. So that's kind of my backstory. So when I walked in the first day of working at Smith Barney, which at the time was the largest financial firm in the world, people didn't look like me. They didn't sound like me. They didn't have my background. Everybody had cufflinks. They looked like 6'4", and they're blonde and a size 0. And I really stood out, and I felt like I didn't belong. And I felt like a lot of my clients that walked through the door didn't exactly feel like they belonged either. So my passion, excitement was like, this is a great opportunity, because I can make people who don't feel like they belong have a place here with me. Or when I started my own firm, same thing. We made sure as soon as you walk through the door, the whole the whole left side was an entire huge candy bar, right? So as soon as you walked in, you smelled candy. So you felt like it was safe, and it was somewhere that you would be happy. So I think that's what really got me excited about the financial industry. It was a very tough place to start off with. I think it was very challenging. It was very stressful. It was really cutthroat. And so the place that I thrive most is a very, a very peaceful, harmonious environment. And so I've worked really hard to build a firm that reflects that, where clients can come from all walks of life, whether it's that first $1,000 they want to invest, or when I worked with DreamWorks Animation after they went public and helped them with their company stock and everything else, and all the corporate executives. Didn't matter where they were on that spectrum, they would feel comfortable and safe with me. And so social media was just giving me a chance to show that, right? Because clients would say like, "Oh my goodness, Winnie, we love you." Every client event, hug and kisses. My wedding, they gave me gifts for the entire office, like so many gifts. And I remember thinking, wow, if only I could bottle this up and show people, I wouldn't have to work so hard to find clients. And so social media became my bottle, my
There we
glass
go.
bottle. Mm-hmm.
I freaking love that.
Love
You
it.
guys, I'm
Yes.
sure, could feel the energy when she was talking about it, the genuineness. And you're not going to get that from a cold call. And we just talked about her hashtag being shared in the billions, where how many cold calls, who wants to talk about or share a cold call experience? I don't think anyone
Yeah.
does. But when you get a sense of a person's personality and someone that's as genuine as Winnie, like you're going to want to share it. And not only that, keep coming back. You have this craveability factor. That's why I like to call it craveable, where it leaves people wanting more because they enjoyed that experience. They want to come back to you, choose you again and again, and not only choose you again and again, keep coming back. I want to read this comment here too, but also if you guys are getting value out of today, which I know you are, because I mean, it's Winnie Sun, type the word recap in the comments here because we will be recapping this in a blog with the replay, some tweetables, and resources and links to where you can connect more with Winnie. You need to check out her show. It is amazing as well. But we will make sure that comes to you in your inbox. So really quick here, this comment, Eva, you are on fire today. And I'm sorry, Mike, I'm covering up your face with this. Gives you a chance to fix your hair, So,
There
okay.
we go.
Eva
Thank
says,
you.
thank you for all the information and positive attitude towards social. Isn't she positive? Don't we all feel better already? Apart from the lawyers, I work with accountants and tax advisors, also in regulated industries. Seems many of them are happy to connect with people via social media. One accounting firm has a really nice strategy. They share relevant information in Facebook groups for entrepreneurs, in particular foreign entrepreneurs who started their business in the UK. The company is active in 15 plus Facebook groups. So yeah, is there a difference between public, private, groups and how you're sharing content, or what would you respond to Eva with that?
So Eva, I think great question. I think it's really, I think we all know it's really hard to be two people. So I try to just be one person. I really don't do social for personal reasons. I mean, I'm a very private person normally. So, people probably know I have 3 kids, but some people say, "Oh my goodness, your kids are so cute." I'm like, how do you know? I've never shared a front picture of my kids. You only see the back of their heads. I guess from the back, they're pretty cute. But from the front, they're even more cute. But this is the truth. It's like, I don't have that much time, right? And so if I'm going to do social, of course, I'm doing it in a way that will benefit my company and my brand, and also so that way people can know what is it that I do for a living. And then, like on my, really my personal stuff, I don't do that much of it. It's mostly, maybe somebody will text me or, somebody will reach out to me that way. But in terms of social, I pretty much stay within my vertical, within my, my swim lane. And that is to think about, I'm sharing things about me that are comfortable, but also that are relatable, that are all true, right? So that way, when I see you, at Costco, or I see you on the plane and we talk about something, I'll know what you're talking about if it was me that posted it or tweeted you or responded to you, because that was what I was doing. So I don't really hand that off to anybody. I do that myself.
Got it. Now, and what do you do? Like, if you're in a situation where maybe there's back and forth on social media, so maybe it's with your Twitter chat or something, and you do get kind of one of those questions that it is a little bit, somebody's trying to get crypto investment advice and that type of thing, and you need to, that you have to kind of walk that. Is that just something you're straightforward with? How do you handle those situations?
Yeah, I always think it's best to start and be honest. I mean, I think there's certain things, I try to do if I'm before, I do a lot of television interviews. So before television interview or press interview, we'll generally tell them that ahead of time. There's certain things I'm just not allowed to talk about. It's not like I'm not familiar with them or I don't have a lot of knowledge in those subjects, because I generally do, but I just can't do that on a public forum. If it's someone who directly asks me that question, I'll find a way to respond to them, but without answering that portion of it, which I just can't get to. The other thing that people I want to mention too is a lot of people will say, well, and this could be especially in the professional services that we're in, and they'll say like, well, I don't think that like my clients are on social media. Right. You probably heard that, I think that's like more like normal person, not my type of client. Well, I think that's so wrong to think about. And so I feel like I find it to be very discriminating personally, because I mean, we're on social media. When I was like 20 something, I might not have had much money, so you may not have wanted to work with me, but I bet you right now you would want me as your client. And I think that's really, really bad that we discriminate against people that we think are at a certain level right now. What happened to getting to know people for the sake of knowing the people, and not like most of my social following will never become my clients. That doesn't mean I love them any less, because they support me in everything else. I support them back. And that's that we should just be good humans, right? We should focus on being good humans who happen to have a job that happens to pay us a good living. But if we only go make friends with people that could potentially be our friends, I feel I feel like that there's a human shortfall there a little bit, right? I think that's a real mistake. Plus, I want to tell you this. I have brought in healthy, listen to this, 8-figure clients from social media. So do not discount social media, no matter what industry you're in, including the financial industry. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are speaking my language, and this is just one additional reason why I love you. But yes, like you don't have to just show up for people that you think are going to buy from you. It's creating the sense of belonging. I would have never met you if I was only targeting and connecting with people that I thought were my customers. Like I always say, the goal of social is taking your followers and making them fans of yours, like feeling the sense of belonging. And when they feel the sense of belonging, because you're speaking to something that can serve them, show up, add value, leave them off better than when you found them, then they're going to come back and want to connect with you. Some of them will become your clients, which then hopefully become your advocates for you and want to promote you on, grow repeat referral business. But then you're going to have community members, which we have. That's a lot of who shows up here are people that will never be our client, but they're part of our community, our sense of belonging, because they get it. They want to show up the best for their community as well, and out care the competition. And by doing that, when we build a sense of community, we talk about each other. We invite each other onto each other's shows. We want to invite them to our trusted community because maybe someone that they show up in our community for is their customer, and vice versa. But what it does is create this momentum flywheel that helps us generate more and more awareness, exposure, and more people having this sense of connected to who we are, that allows our organic growth. And that's the key. And once people like get that like shift that goes off, that's like, now I get it. Then you never have to worry about, spending, paying to play, right? You can just show up and people will show up for you. And I love that you get that. And I love that you practice that and do it so well. And I hate that we're already at 30 minutes goes too fast, Winnie. So I want to leave it to you to any last finishing thoughts, as well as where can people connect with you to follow you online?
Sure. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. I mean, I mean that sincerely. So I'm really glad we talked about that. But yeah, if you want to learn more about me, super easy. I'm all over social. Winnie, like Winnie the Pooh, Sun like sun in the sky. And here's what I'll leave for you. For those of you who are maybe still not committed to this and not that excited about this, this is what I will tell you. All right. If you want to be in a CNBC, if you want to be on a Forbes, if you want to be on a Good Day LA, or all other channels like Yahoo Finance, ABC, all these NASDAQ, whatever, I will tell you, You have to earn that place. And the best way to do that is to commit to other people. Be there for other people, not just pat them on the, I always say the like is the pat on the back. The retweet and comment is the hug. You need to give out a lot of hugs in order to earn that right. And then when you do that from your heart and it's truly sincere, the media companies will take notice and they will pay attention and they won't let you go. So food for thought. It's a good
Beautiful.
business
Preach,
decision.
preach, preach, preach. Yes, you guys definitely connect with her. She is the real deal, 100% vouch for her. She really does outcare the competition, what we're all about here. And so check out Winnie Sun, Winnie, like Winnie the Pooh, like she said, Sun like sun in the sky, .com, and connect with her on her socials. Her show's amazing as well, the live show and her tweet chats and all the things that she does. But we will be recapping this tomorrow on our blog. So if you want a copy of that, definitely type the word recap in the comments and you will be greeted in the messenger to get subscribed to that if you're not already. Winnie, thank you so much for your time. You are amazing. I love having you on here. Mike, as always, thank you as well. And thank all of you for joining in with us this week on Magnet Marketers. We'll be back here next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I hope all of you enjoy the rest of your week and you show up to outcare your competition as well. All right, guys. See you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.